In this lesson, we will learn how to create and edit keyframes in Maya. So the rig is finished. It's now time to bring our mech to life with animation. And by the end of our course, we'll work on a really cool project that I think you'll find really enjoyable. And our goal will most certainly be to create an entertaining performance. So I can't wait to walk you through those steps. But let's say we go ahead and get started now. Our first mission is to have our mech float in place. So let's go ahead and do this. We'll grab his arm controls. Let's go ahead and shift select them. We'll also shift select his leg controls. We'll grab the center of gravity control last, and we'll press the P key. That way these objects are now parented. Fantastic. Wonderful. All right, so once that has been done, the next step is to go ahead and kind of pose our mech the way we would like him to look through this first animation we're going to work on, which is an idle. We'll have him kind of float in place. So I think this looks cool. If anything, we can go ahead and grab the two leg controls and kind of lift them up. And then we can go ahead and grab our rotate tool with the E key and just kind of rotate the toes down a bit. There we go. Still, with the leg control selected, I'd like to kind of pull them back just to push this pose a little bit more and make it seem like he is actually floating or hovering. All right, fantastic. Let's go ahead and check our frame range next. Let's go ahead and set our animation end time to 33. Fantastic. And then this very first field here, this is our animation start time. The next two fields would be our playback start and end. So this is what we see in Maya when we play back using our playback controller here over to our right. And if we want, we can go ahead and grab these handles on our range slider to adjust what frames we see. And then when we double click on the range slider, that will bring us right back to our animation start and end time. When we double click again, it'll revert back to where we were before. And we could also slide the center of this to have further control over the frames that we're able to view right here in Maya. Cool stuff. So I'll go ahead and double click to set this back to our animation range. Let's go ahead and check our animation settings. We can access them by clicking on the icon right above the script editor at the far right corner, or we can go to Window, Settings and Preferences, Preferences. But keep in mind, when we take that route, that will take us to the top of the list, whereas if we were to go ahead and click right here on the icon, notice that'll send us right to our animation settings. But then we have other settings. This is very important. Let's go to the settings category just to make sure we're using the correct frame rate. So in this case, 24 frames per second, which is what is used for film. That is what the default is in Maya. So that's great. And then we could check the animation settings just to make sure that we're using a smooth interpolation type, which is currently auto, and that's correct. This is going to give us some really nice and smooth interpolation. It will also help us to prevent overshoots in our function curves, which we'll have a look at very soon. So let's now go ahead and click Save, and we're ready to animate. So when you're creating a cycle, you should make sure your start and end frames are identical. That'll help you achieve a seamless blend. So what we'll do on frame 1 is we'll press Shift W, and that's going to set translate keys. Next, we can go to frame 33, and we can press Shift W here. Fantastic. So we're just focusing on positional movement right now. Now let's say we go ahead and create an in-between. Now here's what's nice about our frame range. Notice we're working with odd numbers. That gives us a really nice midpoint. So in this case, our midpoint is 17. And we know that by doing simple math. If we were to, let's say, take off our very last frame, 33, and make that 32, which we'd want to do when playing back the cycle, simply because frames 1 and 33 are identical, right? So that means when we cycle through this, we'd get a pause. So we'd simply knock off the last frame once we're ready to take a look at our seamless cycle. Now, with that in mind, if we divide this number, we get 16. But then we don't want to forget about 33, right? So we add one back, and we get 17. Fantastic. We also have some really nice sub-midpoints, which would be 9 and 25. But let's say we go ahead and see some movement now. So the rule is you would pose your character. Once you're done posing the character, you can then set a keyframe. And even before all of that, go to the frame that you would like to pose the character on. So in this case, we've already moved to 17. Let's say we go ahead and have the character move down. So just go ahead and translate him down just a little bit in the y-axis. We don't want him moving too much because our animation won't look convincing. So we'll go ahead and bring him down just a bit. And now we're ready to create a keyframe to save this pose. So let's say we go ahead and take a look at another route we can use to save a keyframe. We can go to our Translate Y channel here that we've modified. We'll right click and choose Key Selected. This is a clean way of animating because we only set a keyframe on the channel we need and nothing more. Fantastic, and you can learn more about this in Introduction to Animation. So take a look, when we play back our animation, we're able to see our mech floating, which is super cool. Fantastic stuff. Also, if you would like to skip between your keys, you can use the step back one key and step forward one key icons on your playback controls. And then if you'd like to move one frame at a time, you can use the following controls. If you'd like to jump to your start and end time of this range, you would go ahead and use the outer arrows. Fantastic. So there we have it. We're able to see a really cool cycle, and that's going to be it for this lesson. Let's say we go ahead and move to the next lesson and learn about the graph editor. We'll also learn how to cycle an animation infinitely in time.